Good morning, everyone. I hope that you're doing well. Hopefully, your day is moving along at a good pace with good things involved in it, whether you're in the morning time, the middle of the day, in the afternoon, or maybe you're heading towards the evening. Maybe it's late at night and you're stopping on in. I appreciate you being here. Today, we're going to take a listen to Orpheus, a symphonic poem written by Franz Liszt between 1853 and 54. We're listening to this because honestly, I was researching tone poems and I was trying to learn a little bit more. And this seems to be one of them that was quite popular. I didn't necessarily see that this was recommended in the comment section anywhere. It very well may have, but I can't say for sure. So this is really something I'm just kind of pulling up and listening to for not only our entertainment, but for my education. So that's how we got here. In case you're wondering, we're going to be listening to this performance as performed by the Rundfunk Orchestra Berlin, and I believe not composed, but conducted by Raphael Frubeck de Burgos. So that's where we're heading. And so without further ado, let's head. Here we go. It's a great album cover as well. The harp is immediately transportive. It's really, really beautiful. This is really nice with the violin kind of creaking out and the harp still very gently playing in the back. This is a really nice section right here. These sections with the violin and the harp are kind of my favorite. Every time you hear them a little bit in more isolated fashion. Such a delicate melody. I love how it just swung to that without even a thought. Is this us journeying into the underworld to rescue Eurydice? Sounds like trouble. That feels like the descent. And even this has a little bit more of a mysteriousness to it. Kind of romantic. Maybe this is him finding Eurydice. We all know how that goes. The strings cutting in the back is very ominous, even when they're quiet. I thought that was a really wonderful journey. And, with Orpheus, I know that he's known, for many other things and other stories and such, but I always think about Orpheus and Eurydice, his wife, and traveling to the underworld to rescue her. It's almost a successful journey, and then it's not, right? That's where my mind always goes. So I can't help but relate that to this, even though it very well may not be exactly that. I don't know. But it does kind of sound like it could be, because in the beginning, life is peachy. Everything is going very good. We have very beautiful harp being played here, which is just such a peaceful and serene sound. Sounds like Orpheus is musing to himself, just creating music and poetry and all the things that, of course, he's known to create. And little by little, step by step, there's a journey that takes place musically for sure, and possibly going along with the symbolism of the stories of Orpheus and the adventures that he took place in his life as well. And so it's really interesting how it goes from peaceful and serene to me, kind of in isolation, perhaps he's composing or something, and then moving into some sort of adventure. There's a tale to be spun, there's adventures and journeys to be had, and we get that in the first third there. And I really like how the orchestra and the symphony works around that harp and eventually kind of taking over the melodies from that. And it just feels really alive. It feels really beautifully organic and never losing that sense of peace, but now returning to it with a sense of movement as well. Then eventually there's that little turn. I wasn't looking exactly when it happened, but there's that little turn of the notes when all of a sudden the chords just change a little bit. You have the violins and the string section behind tensing up and very, very fastly playing, even though it's at a quiet volume. And that just adds this apprehension, that adds this rushing sense of anxiety. And that's why I can't help but think like, okay, maybe that's the part where it's symbolizing him traveling to the underworld to rescue his wife. And, it stays dark. And then there's a moment where it kind of feels like we're dropped into a little bit of a pit. And I mean that in a sense of, not that the music goes off into a deep, dark direction, but there is a noticeable change in the light of it. That's kind of around here. Like there's a hollowness here, right? There's an emptiness. And I feel like this is him kind of creeping through the underworld, trying to find her and everything. And then there's this moment where the strings and the music rushes in, almost like this flurry of beauty and feelings. And I feel like that's when he sees her. Right? Come on. This is not quite yet. There's building to it. That. See how the strings now turn to something almost romantic and beautiful, like elation. That's the word. It's elated at that particular moment, and a beautiful, like, there she is. Wow, we're gonna be successful. And then then it goes from there, and it not exactly. So it's really cool how this moves through those different feelings, those different emotions, and kind of captures it all perfectly. Like I said, this may not have anything to do with that story, but my mind goes there. As when I think of Orpheus, that's the first thing. Well, it's not the first thing I think of, but it's one of them. But this was a really beautiful piece, and I like how, as a whole, this to me feels like a good morning piece. And maybe that's because it's 8:45 in the morning right now. And it's a great way to wake up. For the most part, it's very peaceful. There's moments of excitement, but they're not overly dramatic or anything. It's just a nice little climax to kind of lift you up, and then it sets you back down in a really, really good way. Let's read a little bit about this. Let's see. He numbered it number 4 in the cycle of 12 he wrote during his time in Weimar, Germany. It was first performed in 54, conducted by the composer as an introduction to the first Weimar performance of Christoph Willibald's Gluck's opera Orpheus and Eurydice. Well, there you go. Okay. Let's see. Orpheus is one of 4 symphonic poems he composed as character sketches of men of creative genius, heroism, or legend. The other 3, Tasso, never heard of him, Prometheus, I guess he got burned on that deal, and Mazeppa, never heard of him. In his preface, Liszt describes an Etruscan vase depicting Orpheus that extols civilizing effect on humanity. This reference to the ennobling effect of Orpheus in his art may have been derived from the Orpheus depicted by the French philosopher Pierre-Simon Ballanche in Orphée in 1829. By introducing civilized laws, the Orpheus of this 9-volume work leads humanity into the modern age. This was intended by Blanche to provide a new philosophy for all of Europe. Okay, scored for piccolo, two flutes, oboes. Especially noteworthy is the instrumentation, which includes two harps. Their representation of Orpheus' lyre in the opening 14 bars immediately focuses the listener's attention to this instrument. That makes complete sense. Harpist Jean Paul, one of the new virtuoso players brought to Weimar by Liszt to augment the court orchestra, inspired the composer to pen these effects. It's not a long work and takes the form of a gradual crescendo followed by a quiet ending, which returns to the mood of the opening. The music here remains largely contemplative. It became a favorite piece of Liszt's son-in-law, the composer Richard Wagner. There you go. Okay. Relation there. Okay, modified sonata form, a bunch of stuff that, just doesn't interest me on the technical level, although, of course, some of you it will, but that's just not for me, mostly because of ignorance. The ethereal chromatic ascends in the final bars attenuates any decisive closure that could be expected from more conventional harmonic resolution. It doesn't finish in the way you expect if you want to ELI 5. Combined with the closing theme of the second group, this ends the work as a cryptic vision which recalls the final moments of Blanche's story. There, the story's narrator, Tamiris, witnesses Orpheus disappearing into the clouds, leaving mankind the task of developing his teachings of civilization. He leaves us to it. He leaves us our homework. It's up to us to turn it in at the end of the day. I think that this was a really nice piece to listen to and just a peaceful and beautifully moody track here. So I would love to know what you guys thought of it. Hope you don't mind. Every once in a while, I want to listen to something for myself and just kind of discover something for myself. And hope you didn't mind my what's the word when you go off the beaten path? Like we're supposed to be going this way, but I kind of go this way a little bit. What's the word? My not sideshow attraction. My what's the word? What is that word? Why is it escaping me now? I had it in my head. Alternate route? No. My misdirection? No. What is that word? Now I got to sit here and keep recording until I think of it. My deviation? Getting closer. It doesn't matter. Have a fantastic one. I will see you